Hello, this is Unit 5, the review test. Lesson 12, the review test, page 234. I'm doing numbers 6 through 10. If you're wondering what the target goals are, go back to the previous video for page 233. All right, number 6. Jamal buys postcards of Washington, D.C. for $10.20, not including tax. Each postcard costs 85 cents. How many postcards does Jamal buy? So the total is $10.20. I want to break it into 85-cent parts. It's $10.20 divided by 85 cents. So I first multiplied my divisor by 100 to make it a whole number. So I had to multiply my dividend by 100. That put me starting at 102 divided by 85 would be 1. 185 was 85. When I subtracted, I had 17. I brought down the 0. 170 divided by 85, I thought there were 2 of them. 2 85s were 170. I had 0 left. So I end up having 12 postcards, costed $10.20. Number 7, Paige's backyard has an area of 95 9/10 square meters. The length of the yard is 14 meters. What is its width? They already drew me a diagram. They put the area on the inside because it's the yellow shaded area, 95 9/10 meters squared, and my length is 14 meters. So I know length multiplied by width equals area. So 14 multiplied by what I'm looking for equals 95 9/10, means I have to take the 95 9/10 and divide it by the 14. So when I did that, the 95 could be divided by 14. There were 6 of them. 6 groups of 14 are 84. I had 11 left. I brought down my 9/10. Brought my decimal point into my quotient and said there's 8 14s in 119. So there's 8/10 of a 14 in 11 9/10. 8/10 multiplied by 14 is 11 2/10. I had 7/10 left over. I brought down the 0 that I attached. 70 hundredths divided by 14 are 5 hundredths. 5 hundredths multiplied by 14 is 70 hundredths. I have 0 remaining. So my quotient is 6 85 hundredths. So my width would be, oops, that's not working. My width would be 6 85 hundredths meters. And as they showed, metric is measured in decimals. Number 8, Mr. Adams divides. They're telling me he's dividing 223 markers equally among 26 students. So he's dividing 223 by 26. He puts the extra markers in a box. What is the least number of markers he puts in the box? Now, when I think about that, I'm thinking remainder. Well, the smallest remainder I could have would be 0. So I'm thinking the least he could put in are 0. But I'm pretty sure that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for how many, what would I have left after he divided them. So I did the division. And 223 divided by 26, I said there was 8. 8 26s is 208. When I subtracted, I got 15. So I'm saying is he would probably have put in the remainder is the answer I'm looking for. That's what they were looking is. Do I know that sometimes my answer is my remainder? So it would be 15. The word least here was kind of not a good word. We're looking for 15 markers that he would put in the box. 9, a park creates new habitats for 182 monkeys. That's a lot of monkeys. Each habitat will host 8 or fewer monkeys. So I can only put 8 monkeys in a habitat. What is the least number of habitats the zoo will need? All right. So I'm going to take my 182 monkeys and divide it by 8. And when I divided 182 by 8, I got 22. But I realized, wait a minute, what is this 6? The 6 are 6 monkeys that still need one more habitat. So I'm going to take and add, because of this remainder of 6, it tells me to add 1 to my quotient. So they would need at least 23 habitats if they don't want more than 8 monkeys in a habitat. Now, what did you do with the remainder? Explain why. Well, like I said, what I did with the remainder is the remainder told me to add 1 more to my quotient because my remainder represented 6 monkeys, and those 6 monkeys need 1 more complete habitat. So in words, here's how I would have written it. I increased the quotient by 1 because the remainder represents 6 monkeys that would need 1 more habitat. Number 10 says solve, express the remainder as a whole number, show your work. Draw a model to show how you solve the problem. So 970 divided by 57. I wouldn't divide 9 by 57, but 97 divided by 57, there is 1 in there. One group of 57 is 57. And I need to subtract that. 97 subtract 57 is 40. Bring down my 0. $400 divided by 57 is 7. 7 groups of 57 are 399. $400 subtract 399 would be 1. And they said to express my remainder as a whole number. So my remainder would be 1. Now, there are a lot of ways that I can express this, draw a model to show this. So make sure you're drawing a model, but that's totally up to you how you would do it. One way I would do it is all the time a model could be area. Hey, I have 970. And the length is 57. I'm looking for the width. You can always draw an area model for anything that ends up being division. Another thing that, if you pay attention to Mr. Springer very much, knows that he likes to use what he calls candy bars, but a bar model. And I have 970, that's a lot. That's getting put into groups of 57. and I want to know how many groups there are. Oops, that's supposed to be a 7. And I want to know how many groups there are. Or I could draw it as 57 groups, which is kind of hard to draw too. But putting this all into 57 and say how much is in each group. Okay, so any of those types of drawings, but to put 57 of these in here would be pretty hard, I think. Obviously, they'd be pretty small. Thank you and good luck.